back to the third day of our chess tournament. I can't believe I'm still in the tournament. I've been doing really good. And you know what? Yesterday at the chess tournament, after my game, I met a new friend. And this new friend helped me and showed me some new strategies. And I've been practicing them. And oh, it was so cool to have a friend come up and help me. And, but I'm really nervous about my next opponent. My next opponent is super hard to beat. And they're kind of prideful. They're very proud. And so I'm kind of worried. I'm feeling really nervous. Because they're a hard opponent and they're proud, but you know, I think these strategies I've learned are really going to help. And you know, my friend taught me these great strategies. I think it's really going to help. And it reminded me of another story out of the book of Joshua about a time that somebody needed a friend to step in and help because they were facing a big, prideful, difficult enemy. So let me tell you this story. But before I do, how can we glorify God? We can glorify God by loving Him and obeying Him. Loving Him and obeying Him. So let's review. The Israelites finally get to cross the Jordan River into the Promised Land. They take Jericho, and they're starting to conquer the Promised Land, to settle in the Promised Land, to take it back over. And they made friends with this one group, this one land called Gibeon. And they became friends. They kind of, made peace, made a treaty, and, hey, we can get along. And so they made peace with Gibeon. But there was another group of people, and there were 5 kings in this people. And these 5 kings did not like that Gibeon and Israel had become friends. In fact, they got their army together and they went to go fight Gibeon and say, hey, you can't be friends with these people. So Gibeon's like, oh no, these 5 kings, they've got this huge army, they're coming after us. And they go to Israel and they say, can you help us? We're friends, we get along. Will you help us? And Joshua said, sure, we'll come, we'll help you fight these 5 kings who are not following God, who are not being respectful to God, worshiping God, who are worshiping false gods and idols. We'll fight against them for you. We'll help you fight against them. So they got together and they were going to fight. And the 2 armies met in battle and they're fighting and things are going all right, but it's starting to get late in the day. And the sun's going to go down, and when it gets dark, they have to stop fighting. And then they go back to their camps, and they rest, and they regroup, and then they get back together the next day and fight. But that sometimes isn't good in battle. And Joshua's like, no, we need to finish this now. If we let them go and take a nap, things won't go as well. We need to just keep going, keep fighting. So he asked God, he said, God, can you please stop the sun? If the sun goes down and we have to stop fighting, it's not going to be good. Can you just stop the sun? Stop the sun. Just make it stop right there. Just not get any later. It's 4 o'clock. We don't want it to get any later. Just stop it. And you know what God did? He stopped the sun. And it just stayed there. He said he stopped the sun, he stopped the moon, and it stayed there for almost a full day. And they were able to keep fighting, and they defeated these 5 kings who did not love God. Wow. God stopped the sun. He's the one who created the sun and the moon and the stars and put them all in motion so that they move in the heavens. And he stopped them to give his people the time they needed to finish the battle that they were fighting, because he was on their side. Wow, that's amazing. That is just amazing. And just like Gibeon called on Israel and they were friends, they helped each other out. I had my new friend help me with my chess game. And it's awesome. It's so awesome. And after that battle, there were other battles. There were lots of battles. It took a while. But finally, they had conquered the Promised Land. And they got to settle it. They got to build homes and cities, and they got to settle down, and there was peace. And after several years, it was Joshua's turn to die. He was done being the leader because he got old. And it was his turn to go and be with God. And he encouraged the people, follow God, love him, follow him, remember remember what he has done for you. Worship him. And they said, yes, we will. We will worship God. And then he got to go and be with God. Having a life that was faithful and trusting God and obeying God and glorifying God by loving him and obeying him, and then getting to go and be with him one day. Oh, what a good life. So what's the connection to Jesus? There's always a connection to Jesus. Every story points us to Jesus. Well, God gave them victory over their enemies. God helped them defeat their enemies by doing something amazing, making the sun stand still in the sky so they could defeat their enemies. Well, he's given us victory too. What has he given us victory over? Our sin. We are trapped in our sin and we can't do anything about it. You can't fix your sin problem. I can't fix my sin problem. Pastor Toby can't fix his sin problem, but God can. And he gives us victory over our sin through Jesus. And Jesus' death on the cross helps us beat our sin. And we can't do it without him. Just like Israel couldn't have conquered the promised land without him. So how do we glorify God? By loving him and obeying him. We glorify him by loving him and obeying him. Ah, what a good God we serve. He is awesome. I have to go play my next round of chess, but it was great hanging out with you and getting to share these cool stories and these awesome strategies. And I will see you guys later.